Hi everyone, I'm Fiona and I'm your host for this episode of EcoBytes, an online series brought to you by the Sustainable Singapore Gallery. In each episode of our EcoBytes series, we'll be covering various sustainability themed topics and we'll be featuring various guests and speaking to them about their works in sustainability in Singapore. And furthermore, in each episode, we also have a special giveaway. So stay tuned to the end to find out how you can enter our very special giveaway. In episode 3, Every Thread Counts, we spoke to a nerd store about sustainable textile practices and we learned about batik painting. And today, in this episode, Plastic-Lite Lifestyle, we'll be exploring ways to adopt an environmentally conscious lifestyle and learn tips to minimize our use of single-use plastic. Do you know that according to NEA, over 900,000 tons of plastic waste was thrown away in 2018? And of this amount, only 4% were recycled. The excessive use of plastic has caused a negative impact on our health and environment. But you may ask, how does it really affect us? Well, by 2050, there could be more plastic than fishes in the ocean. And furthermore, our only landfill, the Semakau landfill, is projected to run out of space by 2035. And with our excessive use of plastic, this will aggravate the situation and our landfill will no longer be able to accommodate the amount of waste we produce. And although Singaporeans are increasingly aware of the risk of single-use plastic, but our recycling rate still remains alarmingly low, and this is definitely a cause of concern. And not only that, this excessive use of plastic is also causing a strain on our waste management system, and it uses up a lot of natural resources. So you can see that the excessive use of plastic and all this is actually bringing a lot of various issues. And today, we have invited a very special guest, Shalini from Plastic-Lite. So welcome, Shalini.
Hi, Fiona.
So Shalini will be here to share with us ways to minimize our reliance on single-use plastics and also how we can repurpose our containers, plastic containers, and into something useful again. So thank you so much for joining us, Shalini.
No problem.
So Shalini, before we start, could you tell us a bit more about Plastic-Lite Singapore and yourself, and also how did your journey in this whole with Plastic-Lite actually started?
Okay, so I still remember the day very clearly. I was doing my final year of exam, my first year of uni, and then I realized that the upcoming summer break, I was actually planless, right? And I've always had the interest in environment since young. It's just that I never did anything actively about it, other than use the usual 3 R's, right? So I thought, okay, why not? Let's find a volunteer group to join, and so I did a simple Google search, and Plastic-Lite popped up. So, and I went to look at their vision, mission, their page, and maybe it was a gut feeling or something, I just felt like I could join them. So I wrote them an email, and yeah, it's been about 2.5 years since. Yeah, so at Plastic-Lite, our main aim is that we just want to empower people and encourage people to live a very plastic-light lifestyle, because we know of the harmful effects plastic has on the environment and our health even now, with studies showing that. And so I feel like there's a lot of information out there, but it doesn't really get reached out to people. So what we want to do is just reach out to society at large, be it schools, corporates, people, our family, friends, and let them know what are the actual harmful effects of plastics and how they can go about taking small steps in their daily lives to really lead a plastic-light lifestyle. Yeah.
So I would say that, from what you've shared, that Plastic-Lite is actually consists of volunteers like yourself.
Yeah.
So people from all walks of life that share, a common goal or want to do their part for the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, since you say that you've been there for 2.5 years, so it has been quite a bit of time.
True.
It seems like you have a lot of, interesting stories. Is there any interesting experience or story that, changed the way you maybe change your experience or that really shape you or make this journey very meaningful?
Okay, I guess I can think of one personal anecdote. So I remember so personally my family knows that I take part in events like these, give talks, and basically they know that I'm doing something related to living plastic-light, and but they don't really know the details of it, because I don't really go about sharing so much as well, right? So I just know that also my dad, he's not, I guess it's a common sentiment out there that maybe mothers are usually more inclined to change their habits than fathers. Right? Maybe I that's what I've noticed in my family and my friends' families as well. So my father initially was he knew what I was doing, but then he still didn't actively carry a tote bag around and stuff like that. So initially I got a bit why isn't he following and stuff like that? But eventually there was one day where I saw with my own eyes where he he told the supermarket lady like, oh, don't need plastic bags, I'll carry it in my hand, or I brought a bag. So that was like a wow moment for me, because I knew that, okay, so finally he's aware that I'm doing something like related to plastics, and that, he has a part to play. So personally, that was very meaningful for me, because like I managed to influence someone who I didn't think was possible influencing, right? Yeah, so it's small personal anecdotes like that keep me going. But also, like you said, our team at Plastic-Lite, we are consisting of all volunteers, because we're non-profit as well. So it's every one of us does stuff on our own time, own target. We don't get paid, or it's purely out of commitment and passion. And I think the drive that they all showed every day in doing something that they love, even though it's out of their day jobs or school times, right? That passion keeps me going. And when we engage with people in like community events, schools, when we really talk to people and find out, what are the struggles they face, or what are the concerns, and when they actually thank us or encourage us for doing this, right, it makes us feel very encouraged to keep doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I really agree with what you say about how, at first maybe it seems like what you do may not be, you don't see any obvious like change, right?
Yeah.
But when it really happens, it makes you feel like whatever you have done is actually really meaningful, and it does have an impact, especially on the people around you.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, from what you share, I feel like it's really, it's very nice to, very warming to hear that, happening to hear that. So, apart from all this, right, is there like, I mean, Plastic-Lite Singapore has, I mean, you guys are very involved in various, I would say, different activities. So, like from schools to corporates, like you shared. So, is there any like different activities for different groups? Like, for instance, schools, like what do you guys do for schools or corporates? Can you share a bit more about that?
Okay, sure. So, like I said initially, Plastic-Lite wants to tackle or aim the society at large, right? So we don't just want to focus on a particular group. So for example, for schools, we have done like we have gone to like, during the assembly periods, we've given talks in schools pre-COVID, and then now during COVID, we've managed to give talks on like Zoom as well. So like virtual talks, and just basically imparting the knowledge that we know to people. And because I think there's never a end to how much you can learn. And there's just so much information out there. Sometimes people get lost as to what to listen to or what to look at. So by just bringing it all concise in a form of a presentation, and just a simple like 15-minute talk, I think it would do wonders. So especially we believe that when we think of society, right, we want to engage with the young. So like really like primary school students, even kindergartens. So recently we also launched this call for entry for an ebook. So
that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Can you share a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So we got secondary schools and primary schools to basically like, sometimes kids have their own ideas and their own like drawings about what they think of the world, plastic waste and all of that. So we want to have that element and just get them to submit whatever it is that they have, like any sort of doodle drawing, their thoughts, and then we kind of compile all of them to an ebook that we are still working on. We've received over 60 entries, which I think is quite promising, given that it's something new that we tried, and we didn't know whether the reception will be good. So we have the entries and now we're working on it. So that's for schools and for corporates as well, because I think now the environmental awareness is really big across society, across the world as well. So a lot of companies have reached out to us saying that as part of the CSR or just part of some goodwill, they want to like make their offices more environmentally friendly, or they want to have the employees maybe attend a talk, a presentation. And so we work with them as well. And similar to schools, but obviously this time the presentation is more catered towards corporates. And we can see how, if they need our help, how we can make their office space a little more greener, a little more sustainable. And we also, for community at large, we have this program called Bounce Bags. So literally just picture bags bouncing amongst different people, right? So what we do is that outside supermarkets, we place this rack with, a lot of us have like reusable tote bags. And like IKEA bags. Right, and then we don't know what to do with them, right? So we came up with this idea of why not place them at this common sharing point, and people can use them when they go for their grocery shopping. And they don't have to feel like, because they didn't bring a bag, they have to take plastic bags. Because now we are providing you with these bags. It's free. You can just take them, use them, and then when you're done, return them. So it's like we want to encourage this sharing spirit amongst people in the community, which is very important. because at the end of the day, we want to empower people and make them feel like they have a choice in playing a part to save the environment. There's no point in preaching or forcing people to do something they don't want. But when you empower people from ground up, right, I think the impact is much more tangible that way. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very interesting idea when you share about the bounce back, because it's something that I guess is pretty new in Singapore, right? Like, I don't see much. Maybe it's not. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I don't really see at my area at least. So, where is it located, or do you guys have any intention to expand it further throughout the whole nation?
Okay, so right now we have about 3 locations: Bedok, Tampines, and Bishan. Right? Yeah. So it takes a lot of liaising between the town council and back and forth. So that's why we are not able to at mass launch it across the nation. It takes a lot of process, but we're very happy with the 3 that we currently have. And we have more constituencies that work in talks with us as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we are hoping to, the eventual goal is to launch it at every possible community area there is in Singapore, because then it will be something that even you will see in your area, right? And then it might become a norm. Yeah, so that's what we are aiming towards.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it would be very nice to see that around my area, you know, like, oh, let's say I've forgotten to bring a bag. I don't have to take more. Because a lot of times, I think we are very convenience-minded in a sense that we choose convenience most of the time because it's easier and it's easier for us. But a lot of us don't see the, what do I call it? Maybe the effects, the impact. Let's say that you may think there's one plastic bag.
Exactly.
But when it's spread out across the year, 365 days, that's a lot.
Yeah, it
accumulates.
It accumulates, I totally understand. That's why we want to make it as easy as possible for people to hop onto this trend or hop onto this lifestyle. Yeah.
I also agree that, you know, it takes a lot of, like, saying with different people, that this is not a single man show. That it needs the whole community, in fact, to come together to make this work. So I really think that, you know, it's really about starting small and then getting more people to, you know, work together to actually make this work. I think it takes time. I'm seeing that, you know, this is something that I guess a lot of people are embracing now, a plastic-lite lifestyle and being environmentally conscious. So I think that, you know, the works that you guys have is very meaningful. And
thank you.
And also because you guys target all walks of life. So, nobody is left out.
Exactly. We don't want to exclude anyone or make it feel like this lifestyle is only meant for one group. We want to be as inclusive as possible, because at the end of the day, we're all working towards the same goal of preserving our environment, right? So it doesn't make sense to exclude certain people.
Definitely. Because when no one is excluded, then they will feel that they will be empowered to do something.
Exactly.
And so apart from, you know, all this that you have just shared, like what you guys have in the pipeline, I mean, honestly, using plastic is still inevitable in our lives. Right?
It is.
Unfortunately. But
it is.
Is there any ways that you have, or like things that we can do to minimize our reliance on single-use plastic? Like some habits we can adopt, we can share with our audience today.
Okay, so at Plastic-Lite, we really want to advocate for the use of, for the idea of refuse. So everybody, we know the 3 R's, like reduce, reuse, recycle. But what we have realized in recent years is sometimes the act of just saying, no, I don't need this, can go a long way. Because you don't realize, like you said earlier, right, small amounts, small bits really accumulate. So you might think that taking, example, I'm going to go out and I'm going to tap out like a Hokkien Mee or something, right? And then I'm going back home to eat. But then the uncle passes me, like, he puts it in the plastic container, he puts it in the plastic bag, and then he puts it in like chopsticks or a fork and spoon, right? And then you think that, okay, this is just habitual, so you take it home. But then you don't realize, imagine if you do this like 4 or 5 times a week, you times that by 52 over the year. The amount of waste and plastic waste you would have accumulated would have been a lot. But if the simple act of just saying that I don't need the plastic bag, I don't need the plastic cutlery, because I'm going to eat at home either way. So I can use my own cutlery, right? Just like that, you save a plastic bag and a pair of cutlery. So the next, maybe a step further would be, I know a lot of my friends, even myself, I bring like my own reusable containers or my reusable tumbler. So like when I want to buy bubble tea, I just pass my tumbler to the
that's so nice.
Yeah, to bubble tea vendor, and I just put in because even they know that a lot of people are doing it now. So it's not like people are gonna be like, what are you doing? No, it's something that we can see, and some shops even offer discount for bringing your own tumblers and containers. So I think the first most important step is just to refuse what you don't need, because in that way you can easily cut down tons of stuff and unnecessary waste, right? Yeah. So beyond that, a lot of people have thought, the most common thing people have told us is, but I need the plastic bag to throw my trash. Which is, even I agree, right? So,
yes, even I agree.
Yeah, so in that sense, we don't force people not to take, because given Singapore's situation, high-rise buildings, we have to bag our trash before we throw it down the rubbish bin, right? We can't just throw it in, it's very unhygienic. So for that aspect, we say it's okay. But then for that, some people use that as a reason to take a lot of plastic bags, and they don't realize that even if you need one plastic bag a day, right, over the year you'll need 365. But even sometimes when I go or my family goes, we take a lot of plastic bags at once, and that's more than the week's supply already. So then if you accumulate, right, you would definitely have more than what you need, and that's what we don't want to end up doing. Excessive consumption is bad. What we need is still okay, you know. And a small tip that RT, our founder, told me initially, which I still do it till this day, is when we buy bread and it comes in a bread bag, right, we often throw that away. But right, I always do that. But then what she told me is that that bread bag, you can use it to put your trash in your room. Because in my room, the amount of trash that I accumulate over the week is very little. So that I can use that bread bag to put my trash and then just tie it up and throw it away. I don't need to use the entire big supermarket plastic bag for my room's trash. So small things like that, just looking around you and seeing what you can use or what you can refuse and say no to really goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm guilty of the huge plastic bag I have in my room.
Yeah, me too.
The bread one is, the idea is very, it's very useful and practical that we can use. So, I would totally agree that, the first step is always to refuse. So you don't take what you don't need. Because if you don't take, then you won't have it.
Exactly.
You won't have that issue of, I have a lot of waste.
Yes, exactly.
But let's say, I mean, a lot of people that I know, or like I've seen people who are very confused about how they should recycle. Do you have any tips, like what can they recycle, what can they not recycle?
Okay, so recycling is a very tricky issue, I would say, because at Plastic-Lite, we over the years realized that recycling, and also when we hear news globally, even in Singapore as well, right, realize that recycling is becoming an issue in recent years. What we used to think of recycling as a way out of our plastic waste is no longer the solution these days, because globally the demand for recycling has dropped with China's ban and all that stuff, right? So when we put a certain item into a recycling bin, we can't be 100% sure that it would eventually get recycled. And there are studies and articles that show that we do end up sometimes burning our waste just because of the situation we are in. So to avoid all of that, refuse is the best way. But if you do have plastic items that you already incurred and you don't know whether you can recycle, I think the first most step will be to really, really ensure that your items are clean. A lot of people have the misconception that they would, when it goes to the recurring facility, right, that the items will get cleaned and then recycled. But we really don't have the manpower to do that. If you look at the facility itself, it's just a conveyor belt where they sort out the trash. Like, it takes seconds to sort out the item. So we want to make their lives as easy as possible. And we really want to make sure that our items, especially like those plastic containers where we tap our food in, right, it really has to be clean. It can't have oil residue. Food particles, liquid is a big no-no because you end up contaminating. And the biggest problem for recycling in Singapore right now is that more than about half our blue bins are being contaminated, which means the entire bin, even those clean items, are not being able to be recycled. So we want to make sure that everybody's efforts count. So just make sure that your items are really clean when you put them to recycling.
Okay. I think this is something that a lot of people might not know, because they just dump it in the bin, like you said, that it will contaminate the whole bin. So thank you so much for sharing all these tips with us. I'm sure the audience will already learn something from this. So apart from the whole all this that we just shared, will we be doing anything interesting today?
Yes. Okay. So I have. Okay, let's just face here. So I have what we have here is a jewelry container. So this is very easy to find in our houses. So like any like beauty creams, moisturizers, you can just, instead of throwing away the container, right, you can just clean it out. Let me just take this out. Okay, never mind, I'll use this. So you just really make it really clean. Okay, and then dry it, set it aside to dry. And then so what we can do is pick up an old t-shirt that we have as well. Okay, so it has to be cotton, because we want to realize that cotton for this activity, right, we need the yarn that we are making the item with is really elastic. So, and please don't go and buy a new shirt for this, right? We want to upcycle what we have. So I have so many of these cotton shirts at home, which I don't know what to do with them, right? So I realized that this is a very good idea. So the end product is this, basically, and we will be working towards that, right? Okay, so you have so you have a plastic shirt there as well, right? So just lay it flat.
Okay.
Make sure you lay it flat. Okay. You can put the end of the shirt closer to you if you want as well, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So what you need is a shirt, a really sharp scissors, okay, a beauty container, some glue. I think Yoho glue is the best, but yeah, any glue would work also. And then also a pen or marker, because later we want to cut out the base of the carton, and a carton as well. Right, so like this is a very common sight, milk cartons. So just clean them out. Yeah, I know, right? So just clean them out and cut them out. We just need a small area, so it doesn't have to be a perfect shape or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so all these items, and then we can start showing you how to do it.
Okay, how much do I cut?
Okay, so I would say it's about I think a 2-finger width would be okay. Right, a 2-finger width, and then you just cut straight across.
Just cut straight across.
Yes, and you will need three of such yarns.
Okay.
Yep. So just cut. Just make sure the t-shirt is really flat. Because sometimes when you do it, they might come out at different widths.
Okay. So lay flat on the table.
Yep. Yep. A really sharp scissors would make your life really, really easy for this. Alternatively, getting someone to hold it for you would help also, but since now we are just two independent women here, we'll do it ourselves. Okay, so you cut right now it's a loop, right? So we need to just cut off one of the ends and make it into like that. So you get a long strip, right? Yeah. So there's no fixed way of what width we want, because at the end, sometimes we might want like really tight loops, so we can cut it smaller. Or sometimes we want bigger loops and then we cut broader, yeah. So you get this, and then all you do is just really pull it to make them kind of very elasticy and kind of make them shrivel up a bit. You can tell roughly the difference. And that's why this has to be pure cotton, because the cotton shirts have this elasticity that we need.
Yeah, so shirts with cotton in it.
Yeah, like dry fit would not work. Yeah, so cotton shirts. Yeah. So they kind of like become very stretchy. Yours? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you see the difference, right?
Yeah.
So yours, the type of shirts matter as well. Sometimes when the t-shirts are too thin, right, they like kind of shrivel up like that. And then the thicker ones kind of stay flat. Yeah. But I think it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. And if you cut too thin, they will become really...
You'll coil up.
Yeah, really coil up. So that's why you need a bit of a breadth. Yeah, so yours is okay. So we need to cut 2 more of this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And there's no like perfect way to do this. It's just supposed to be a really fun activity. So I feel like even if all 3 of your strips come out in different shapes, if you're doing with your kids, I think that would be a situation we run into as well. Not all the 3 will be the same shape, but it's okay, because at the end of the day, we still will be able to get the perfect or somewhat perfect looking coil.
Okay.
Yeah. And same thing. Also like the tags and all, like just make sure to remove them. Yeah. And then you cut them again. Same thing. Just really pull it out. Right, really pull it out. The rough dimension is that a 1.5 meter strip could give you about 6 centimeter in diameters. Yeah, the proportion sounds very different, but it's because when you coil them up, that's why they shorten to become just 6 cm in diameters lah. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So my first two are already different, but it's okay lah. And then just put it here, and then one more, last one. I think mine's not even straight, but it's okay. Yeah.
So I think it will help if you use a colorful t-shirt, right?
Oh yeah, so like later when I show you the ones we've prepared, they were done with 3 different colors. And it's easier because when it's all the same color and when you start braiding them, like when I show you in a bit, it gets a bit confusing because you don't know which braid went where.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay lah. Yeah, because at the end of the day you want to upcycle them, so we can't be using too many. Not everyone has too many shirts lying around as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
A colorful shirt will make your end product look more colorful as well. Sadly, the ones I have at home are all just white and cream and yeah. So once again, the tags can go out. Cut them. Okay, do you have 3? Just pull. Once you get the hang of it, it's much easier.
Okay, just cut them.
Yeah. And then it's okay if the 3 they should be around the same length. You know. So you have 3, right? It's okay if they look a bit different, but you just because later at the end you can adjust it, right? Yeah. So you just want to make a knot at the top,
So
a rough
put the
knot.
3 of them together, make a knot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make a really tight knot. I think it should be fine. Yeah, doing it. I always feel like doing this activity with someone or your kids or just someone will make it easier because they can help you out when something goes. So just really make it a tight knot, right? And then I think just fold the t-shirt and put it one side. Yeah. Okay. So you have this 3, right? Okay, there's 3. So this braiding technique is very simple.
Okay.
For ladies, it's very easy. It's like how you braid your hair. It's not a fishtail braid or anything. It's a normal braid, right? For guys, men who want to try, it's just basically you have 3. So you hold the top and you bring the left to the center.
Bring the left to the center.
And then the right to the center.
Right to the center.
And then you just repeat it all the way. Left to the center, right to the center. All the way. I can hold the knot for you if you want. And then you want to try braiding?
I think it looks fine, right?
Okay, yeah. So alternatively, you can put something heavy to hold the knot onto the table so that you can really pull and yeah. Because we want the braid to be a bit tight. We can't have it very loose because later when we coil, they might fall apart. Yep. How's it going?
I think it looks... Yeah, mine is a bit loose.
Yeah.
Okay, just tighten them.
It shouldn't be too tight as well, because later the cord become too small. But I think you can be able to tell whether it's too tight or too loose. Yeah. But you rather tighter than it being looser. Yep.
Okay, so for this we actually just have to braid. Do we have to braid till the end?
Okay, so I think for the start, okay, so there's one I've prepared here already. So you'll be able to see the braid much clearer.
Yes, because it's different colours.
Yeah, it's a different colours. So you can see there's a very, very simple braid throughout. It's just left to center, right to center, you know. And then I would say that for the entire length, I think it will be okay to braid all the way and then just leave a bit hanging. Okay. And then we want to make a knot at the bottom. So for the knot, right, let me take out this knot that I currently have.
So the braid is actually dependent on, I guess, the containers?
Yeah, the container as well. So if you already have a container and you roughly know, because it's a bit hard to, until you coil, it's a bit hard to say whether it fits, right? Yeah, so I think don't cut off any excess or what. Just braid all the way.
Okay.
Then leave a bit excess, and then you start coiling. So before you start coiling, right, you need to
See whether it fits the...
before that you want to knot it first.
Yeah.
Knot it first. So right, so the knot is, don't do like the knot that you did at the top because it'll become too bulky.
Okay.
So you have these 3, right? You just take the first 2 and then tie it. And just tie it. Pull it out. It's easier if okay. So just pull it. And then the remaining right 2 you do the same as well. You want the knot to be not very bulky, basically, so that when you coil, it's easy. Yeah, doing it single-handedly is a bit funny, but it's okay. Okay, so yeah, it should look something like that. Just tighten up the knot and leave the excess. Don't cut it, just leave it. How's your knot looking?
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, so if you knot it the other way, right, it'll become like this and then it's very bulky. So this is, in comparison, much smaller.
Yeah.
Looks better? Okay. So now, for the coiling part. So you have this container, you know the rough size. So you just keep that in mind. Was it not? Yeah, just want it to be tight. Yeah.
I think it looks okay, right?
Yeah, looks okay. Okay, so for this, you hold the knot down.
Hold the top knot down.
The top knot down. And then you start coiling around it. You should coil, okay, maybe I should try it this way. Basically, you want the other strips to be flat against the knot.
Oh, okay.
Don't press it flat against the ground, the table, but instead flat against one another.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just have to really hold the top as you coil, and like I said, flat against the thing, not flat down, right? Yeah. So you just hold and you coil. I think this step you have to do it really patiently because if you coil a bit too fast or if it disrupts the whole thing, it might come off and you have to start again.
Okay.
Right. So just slowly take your time, coil, keep your hand pressed on the center, always, so that overall the whole thing becomes flat. Right? Keep doing that. And you see that slowly it's becoming a coil. Right? Okay, and then, so I've come to the end. How's yours? Okay, great. So you just hold it down and take your container and just invert it to see if it fits. So mine is...
mine is too small. I mean, the braid is not enough.
Braid's not enough. Maybe you want to try something smaller?
Okay. I think for situation like this, I have to break a bit
yeah,
more.
So I guess we can work with what I have here. But so if it's too small like this, right? I'll just show it to the camera. If it's too small like this, and then her container is too big, right? So you just unknot and then you continue braiding. And then you coil. So this is why it's very important to have excess and not cut it off. Yeah. So mine is about, I think, just nice. Right? Okay, so I can cut mine. So once you know the rough size, I'll just cut mine here. Okay, and then how's yours going?
Gotta braid it a bit more.
Okay. Okay, so I think we'll work on this easier. Then maybe later you can just continue braiding and see how it goes. So this is where the slightly messy part comes in, which is the glue. Okay, so right, just to avoid it being messy, what you have to do is just glue this to the side.
So glue the ends.
Glue the ends. You don't want to use too much, but just glue it to the side so that it becomes a whole coil. And then let it dry, right? And then after that, you can put it in. So mine might come out anytime, but you just basically push it in, so it came out. But when you glue it to the side, it will stick.
Okay.
So like you can see, mine actually could afford maybe like half a more coil. But the ideal one should look like that, right? So what we want to do is, so you know that once it fits, right, you can take it out again. And then this is where the base comes. Because if you were to put it just flat down, sometimes we want a second base to give it more support.
Yeah.
Right. So what we do is, we just...
this open, right?
Yeah, you can cut it open. You can take a pen. Take this pen. Yeah. Oh, it's coming out. Okay. Okay. This is, yeah, that's why gluing it to the side is very important. So, you can either use this to draw, or I think this will be easier. Just like that, right? Okay, never mind. I'll take out the other pen. Okay, so you just draw a rough circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not very perfect in my circles as well. So see roughly like this. Do you want to have a go at trying to draw one, maybe? Yeah, just a rough one.
So something like this.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see it will be roughly the same size lah, around there.
Okay.
So you cut it out. Okay, because I already want prepared, right? So this part is very easy. You just put the glue. Let's decide. You can decide which side you want to face up. I think both is about the same. It's just that one will be flatter, right? So I guess you take the one that's not so flat because you want to poke your earrings in later.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I want this to face up, I just basically invert it, cut this out, and then I put the glue on and I just paste it. So it's very easy. It's just like a arts and crafts session, basically. So you paste it. And then just let it dry because the UFO glue really smells. The smell is very strong, right? The smell is very strong. So you just leave it, and then once you think it's a bit firm, then you can just put it in. And don't close your container straight away because the smell is really very strong.
Okay.
And you don't want your earrings to be smelling of it as well, right? So, and then I have some earrings here, right? So the idea is to just basically push them in. Right. And then it's supposed to look like that. And it won't really drop out now, yeah. Unless you want to hang out, but I'm guessing we both will just usually put it on the table like that.
It depends on how you want to use it actually.
So yeah, that's why the end product is totally up to you, how you want to do it. The colors, whether you want to complement it with the container color that you have. Maybe yellow and pink is not your idea.
Yeah, it depends on the
So maybe like black and pink would be nicer or something.
Yeah,
so you can just put
it.
it.
Try with this one?
Yeah, okay, so, okay, do you want to have a go? So basically you can just, you can decide which side you want up.
I think either side.
Either is fine, right? Okay, I think you can maybe put it on this. Yeah.
Could you help me to press?
Yeah, sure.
Hold it down a bit. Thank you.
No problem.
Do I put a lot or?
Don't need to be excess, but I think just like horizontal lines across.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe just like a waffle design. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the glue is always a messy part. So you just put it on, right? So for this one, we didn't glue the side, but ideally we want to glue the side in as well. So just paste it down, really pressure it down. Yeah.
And let it dry.
And then just let it dry, because our glue will take some time to settle in.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you meddle with it too fast, it might come out. So maybe you want to take something heavy and just put on it.
Okay.
Let it sit, and then you can try and put it into the container. And then the rough size, it should fit because you already settled the dimension at the start, right? Yeah. So this is the final product that we are looking at. Is yours fitting?
Let me see.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, mine is too big, but yeah.
Okay, you want to show them? This is how it would look like if it doesn't fit, maybe?
Yeah, it's too big. my container.
So yeah, if it's too small and the container is too big, right, then you will just
I think this will
drop out.
Yeah,
then
this
no
will-
point. Yeah, maybe that would be a bit better. Try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a bit bigger, you can still stuff it in. But if it's too small, it will just come out. So I think yours works, and then you can try these earrings.
Yeah, after the glue has dried, then you
Yeah.
can put the earring. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
you just
good.
really want to, you just want to let it dry, sit maybe for a few hours, and then put your earrings. Or just wait until the smell is gone. You don't want your earrings to be smelling of Yoo-hoo glue.
So this whole thing actually depends on the size we want, right?
Yeah,
So we can actually use this for a lot of
things.
a lot of other stuff. that we
Exactly.
have,
So
the knickknacks we have at home.
a lot of containers we get is around this size, but we can use it as like a coaster for maybe your pots. If you want to be really ambitious, you can
so
just
for coaster meaning, do we still need this?
no. So like example, we want like a coaster for a cup, right? Yeah, so we can just, depends on the size of the base of the cup, and then we can just coil it. And then, so imagine this is a cup, so you just put on it.
So it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing, everything is the same.
Without
Just
the container.
without the container, yeah. Or if
Okay.
you wanna, like, I can imagine my mom, she might wanna use this for her pots.
So it's
you know,
bigger.
so it'll be much bigger.
Coil more,
yeah,
break
coil
more.
more. Yeah. So
Okay.
then you'll need like a longer strip of yarn.
Okay.
And yeah. So the longer it is, ideally, obviously, the longer it is, the bigger your coil is. Yeah. So yeah, so this is very versatile. You can use it for your containers, beauty containers. It's a coaster, just a decorative piece even.
Yeah.
So your colors will really come to play there. Yeah. So this is the first one.
Got
We
this.
have the second one, which is a planter.
soil, yes.
Yes. So you can get ready to get your hands a bit dirty. Okay. So what we need, right, is a any clear plastic container, or if a colored one, I guess it works also.
So use what you have.
Yeah, like use what you have. Basically, don't buy new ones just for this. The whole idea is to upcycle, right? So you need a clear plastic bottle, a pen knife, a sandpaper if you have. Not everybody has this, but a sandpaper would be good too. Sandpaper, some soil, right? Gravel, and obviously a plant, right? So you have a plant there with you?
Here.
Yeah, so a plant, and this is a Japanese watercress. So we want to look at plants that can survive indoors in your rooms, basically, and doesn't need too much of a sustenance, right?
Okay, yeah.
And some decorative items that you need.
Okay.
So like this one, you can use what you have.
We'll use this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So. Okay, so this one you have to be really careful. If you're doing it with kids, I recommend parents to take over this first step first. Don't let kids do. So basically, you can leave the cap on. So we just want to cut about half, just about half, right? The height, if you really want a small one, but you will need the roots to take root. So my one, just about half lah. So you want to try it? Cutting? Okay, so you just make a slit around the heart. I think maybe use this because it's
okay.
less.
So maybe here?
Maybe slightly shorter. Here?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Just be really careful when you do it. Just make a slit. Yeah.
Okay.
And be prepared for the sound because the sound is kind of loud.
Okay.
I think maybe you bring louder and then you just start cutting.
Will it be easier with scissors?
I tried it with a scissors, but I think, yeah, the sound.
Depends on what works for you.
Yeah. So be really, really careful. Yeah, almost there. Okay, yeah. So gotta handle the
like
knife very
this?
carefully, yeah. Yeah, like this. So the reason why we say we need a sandpaper is because sometimes the edges might be very, very rough. So you're just gonna like sand it down, or maybe this is where the scissors might come into use. When you have these kind of splinters, it's very dangerous. So you can just cut it off slightly. Yeah. Okay, so be very sharp. It's you just sand it down.
Smoothen it.
Yeah, smoothen it basically. If you don't have a sandpaper, I would just encourage you to just cut it as without any like edges jutting out, right? Just be really careful. Okay, so I think you should have a go at this. It's quite fun. So what you want to do is basically fill up the first layer with gravel. This one.
So
Yeah, you can try this. Yeah, you don't need a lot. You can see just about maybe a cm worth of it. This is very important for the water to drain. If not, your plant might just drown without the drainage. Yeah.
So basically cover the base.
Cover the base and maybe like an extra layer. So you can follow this. Yeah. I would think maybe like 2 spoons more. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, maybe just a bit more. Okay. So you got the first layer down. Okay, so next will be the soil. You can try put the soil in. Yeah. So don't fill it up all the way. Okay. Not all the way to the top. Maybe leave about 1 cm, 1 to 1.5 cm gap from the top.
80%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this is a bit messy.
Yeah. But I think kids will really like this because it's plants and soil and they get to dirty their hands a bit. So yeah, they might like it a lot.
It's a pretty simple activity to do at home with your
Yeah.
family.
True. Like when I did one at home, my cousins really liked it and they found it very pretty. And it's really, because for someone like me who doesn't have green fingers, unfortunately, this plant, I can say that it's really easy to maintain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It doesn't need a lot of water. Just the room sunlight will do as well. It doesn't need to be a lot of sunlight. Yeah, I think just maybe about three more shovels. Yeah. I think at home, even if you don't have a mini shower like that, just because it's all about upcycling, right? So I'm sure we have many of these plastic spoons at home. So you can just use this. Yeah. And then you can just tap it down. Yeah. Make a rough hole in the middle. Later for us to put the plant in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something like this looks good.
Yep. So now, bring this little plant baby inside. And then you can just root it into this. Yeah, sure. So just root it into this. Be really gentle because you don't want to end up killing this plant, right? So you can just get dirty with your hands, right? Just pat it down. I think you can put a bit more soil on this because once you pat it down, it goes down.
Okay, so a little bit more.
Yeah. Yep. Careful. Maybe at home you're doing it on a table that you don't want it to be dirtied, right? You can put a newspaper or an old cloth or something because it's bound to get dirty with the soil. Yeah. Just a bit more, and then I think just make sure that the plant doesn't get too crowded, right?
Maybe a bit at the side.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just want to pat it down later. Okay. So just pat it down. Right, pat it down just to make it neater a bit, and move the plant to the side. So just move it to the center a bit, maybe. Right, and then for the final aesthetic purposes, you can add another layer of gravel on it.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can see the difference when there's gravel and no gravel. I feel like gravel with
it helps with the drainage.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. So it helps the drainage. This one, a thin layer would do. Yep. Yep. And then a bit more, yeah. Okay, so for the last final aesthetic purposes, right, you can take a pic of what decorative pins you want.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can just push it in. So there's a few. They're really cute. Gives you a very garden feel when you have
your mini garden.
Yeah, fake ladybugs and fake birds.
So just poke it in.
Yeah. So you poke one, it'll look like that. You just decorate however many you want.
We have a bee.
Yeah, I think these ornaments
you can see
available. Like you can find it at home, or sometimes at Christmas, like log cakes and all they come with.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you can use them.
All the birthday cakes have decorations.
Like don't make them go to waste, so you can just use it. Yep. And then maybe just one more. Yeah, you can just poke it in. Because the plant has plenty of space to take root anyway. So I think a very important thing is what's a mushroom? Okay. Yeah, it's kind of to the side, but it's fine. Yeah. So you don't want to overwater this plant. Just maybe every day or two, just touch the soil to make sure it feels moist. If it's dry, then that's a problem. You can just pour a bit of water or spray a bit of water and so it's very easy maintenance. I can vouch for it because, like I said, I'm not a very green person, but my plant has been surviving for about 2 weeks now. I'm very proud of it. So it's really easy maintenance, and this is actually an edible plant. It's Japanese watercress.
So just have to grow more.
So the more you grow, the better for you. You can just eat it at the end. So it's really easy maintenance, and I think a very very fun way to upcycle what looks like this and it becomes this. You don't have to go out to buy new pots or anything. Yeah, so
this has been really fun. So thank you so much for sharing me how we can make the jewelry holder and also the planter from things we have at home.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we just throw this away because we don't find any use for it after we have finished the products.
Yep, very true.
So it's really I would definitely try this at home.
True, and I think if you have kids, I know like my cousins would really like to have their hands at this. You can really
family activity.
Family activity, yeah. It's not something you can do alone or something that'd be really fun to get everybody on board.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I love your tip on using the bread bag.
Oh yes, you use it at home. Yes.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
Okay.
So thank you for joining us today on a Saturday. And I'm sure our audience learned a lot from the tips you have shared because they have been really insightful. Like for people like me, we may not be aware because we are so we don't see that part of the situation.
Yeah.
So apart from your sharing with us today, so for the audience who are here with us today watching now, we have something very special for you. So we have a special giveaway where we'll be giving one set of reusable cutlery by susGain and 2 eco-adventure storybooks. So to take part in our giveaway, simply head over to our Instagram and Facebook page, like and share this episode, Plastic-Lite Lifestyle, comment on the giveaway post, and also follow Plastic-Lite SG, susGain Singapore, and as well as ssgallery.sg. So for more bite-sized sustainability content, head over to our Instagram and Facebook page to learn more, and also catch our next episode of EcoBytes on 31st October, and we will see you there. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you.